the gas tax.
And Republican Senator James Inhofe of Oklahoma, member of the Armed Services Committee.
Good evening. Welcome to Crossfire. The drumbeat of isolationist criticism continues. National Security Advisor Samuel Berger, the latest to accuse Republicans in Congress of hiding under a rock when it comes to world leadership.
There is a very real threat to our authority. It lies in the impulse to withdraw from the world in a way that would squander our advantages, alienate our friends, diminish our credibility, betray our values, and discredit our example.
As examples of what they call new isolationism, Clinton and Berger cite failure of Congress to ratify the nuclear test ban treaty, support foreign aid, and pay our UN dues. Republicans argue they're actually strengthening America's position in the world, not weakening it. House Majority Leader Dick Armey dismissed Berger's comments as, quote, random name-calling by a frustrated administration. So who's right? Tonight, maybe we'll find out. Two senators, two different points of view. Bob?
Senator Feinstein, I cannot imagine Henry Kissinger under Richard Nixon, Zbigniew Brzezinski under Jimmy Carter, or Colin Powell under Ronald Reagan delivering a speech like that, a national security advisor. Don't you think, as a responsible senator, and I've always considered you a responsible senator.
I worry about what's coming now.
That a national security advisor ought to stay away from name-calling and slogan-calling?
Well, I think the thought that there's a lot of frustration around is true. I think what's happened to the foreign operations budget is an indication. Not funding the Y agreement, 2 years out of 4 years of our commitment to Y. Not providing the money to the independent countries of Russia so that their nuclear scientists can be commercially employed instead of working for Iraq or Pakistan or Iran. And I think, you know, not paying the United Nations dues, putting on year after year the family planning legislation, I think a frustration has built up in the administration. And, you know, increasingly, as I look at the Congress, what I see is people acting somewhat out of a kind of bias rather than the long-term strategic interests of our country.
But follow me, when you have, I can smell and I do mean smell, a Clintonian campaign going on when Al Gore talks about it, the president talks about it, and then they get little Sandy Berger out there to continue. And I'd just like to read what Dick Armey, the House Majority Leader, he said, tonight's speech is just random name-calling by a frustrated administration. What the administration calls isolationism is actually the result of its own missteps. I don't expect you to agree with Dick Armey, but isn't this what happens when you get the national security advisor making a political speech, then you just get the political back and forth? It isn't constructive, is it?
It's not constructive at all. You know, I was giving this some thought, and I looked at the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, and there are obviously different views on it. But if you take a historical perspective, it was our nation that first used nuclear bombs. And we have led the world in the development of nuclear energy and nuclear bombs. The world is not a safe place. There are tens of thousands of them still in the former Soviet socialist republics. You've got Korea, you've got India, you've got Pakistan, you've got China out there. And for us who have sort of led the world into the nuclear age, now saying we won't support a non-proliferation treaty
that is not a non-proliferation treaty. That's a different treaty. This is a test ban treaty.
Well, I meant the test ban treaty. I'm sorry.
But when you have, Senator, when you have Sandy Berger is talking about the isolationist right opposing this treaty, you have Henry Kissinger, General Brent Scowcroft, John Deutsch, who was President Clinton's director of the CIA, Senator Dick Lugar, the Senate's godfather of arms control.
Bob, I can have former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff on the other side. So there are two different views.
Okay, it's a difference of opinion. But why does the national, if there's a difference of opinion between reasonable people, why does Al Gore and Bill Clinton throw out this isolationist stuff? That is, I hate to use the word, that's McCarthyism.
Well, it's a buzzword, and you're going to hear this over and over again. And this is what Clinton has historically done. And of course, you hear it from Joe Lockhart, you hear it from Sandy Berger, you hear it from all of them up there, and you're going to hear it over and over again. New isolationism, I don't even know what it means.
Well, let me take you back, if I can, Senator, to the first time I heard the phrase new isolationism, which was when the president vetoed the foreign aid bill. And he mentioned some specifics I want to ask you about. Here's the president.
I vetoed the foreign operations bill this morning because it seems to me to be the next big chapter in the new American isolationism, right after the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. There's no money to fund the Why Peace Accord for peace in the Middle East, no money to fund our continuing work with the Russians to reduce their nuclear threat, no money to help us with debt relief of the poorest countries in Latin America and Asia, and several other problems.
Now, Senator, let's talk about why, the Why Accords. Why would we bring the parties to the table and then renege on our deal to help
No, I don't
carry
think
it out?
we did renege. It's a matter of when the money is there. In fact, AIPAC, who's right in the middle of this thing, said the amount and the flow of money is adequate to carry that out. So I don't agree, and I don't agree with the foreign ops money because, as you well know, it's the same amount that the president signed a year ago. So, and as far as Russia's concerned, every time we turn around, Bill, we're pouring more money into Russia, and a lot of it's getting into organized crime. It's not getting at the problem, and I think that maybe we've spent too much.
But
there.
you know that there was language in the bill that went to the president that said no more money to carry out the Why Peace Accords. I mean, isn't this the problem?
No.
We ask other people to act, and then we fail to exercise our own
No,
responsibility.
because the amount of money to carry that out was already in it.
Well,
And it's a cash flow
wait.
situation.
What happened was that the 99 appropriation wasn't used, so it was supposed to be rolled over into this year. They canceled the 99 and they canceled the year 2000. So 2 out of the 4 years of Why are essentially not funded. But I think there's a bigger point. I think everyone at this table would agree that the United States of America is the strongest power on earth. And yet the percent of our budget that goes for all foreign operations, State Department as well as foreign operations in terms of programs, is 1.1% of the budget.
Senator,
Yes, but on that
Senator,
point.
Very
here
small.
it is. Here's my gimmick for the night, all right?
All right.
That's it. That 1 penny out of every dollar for all of our foreign responsibilities, including our embassies around the world. Wait a minute, Bob. My question to the senator is, I mean, you're telling we can't even afford that?
Well, first of all, I think that this line, when you talk about how we are all this strong and all, have you read recently what General Jumper, for example, said that the Su-35 is now better than anything that we've got deployed out there? We have been, under this administration, we have cut our defense budget down. Well, let's talk about the defense budget.
1 penny for foreign aid, Senator. You're saying that's too much?
Yeah.
Senator.
Yeah, my concern is what this president has done to weaken our condition in terms of our force strength. We're at 1/2 the force strength that we were at during the Persian Gulf War. And yet, there doesn't seem to be any concern about negotiating peace through strength.
Senator Heinz, I would like to get back to this question of isolationism because, you know, just a little Democratic Party history. George McGovern ran for president in 1972, and his slogan was, I'm sure Bill followed him madly, was "Come home, America." I mean, don't bother with this stuff abroad. And I used to listen to 2 senators, both of whom I greatly admired, Mike Mansfield and J.W. Fulbright, who said we have to withdraw from our commitments around the world because we got so many problems at home. And just recently, when President Bush asked for support to defeat Saddam Hussein, there were 47 senators, almost all of them, I think they were all Democrats, who voted no. I mean, if you want to, I think those were all responsible positions, but if you want to talk about isolationism, it wasn't that isolationism?
Well, look, I'm not going to criticize the past because hopefully we learned from it. But I do think this. Today, we're in a global economic competition. We've got a global economy. If we also don't have global peace and stability, that economy goes to hell in a handbasket. So I think the United States has a new responsibility in the world because it's got to provide a peaceful infrastructure for a global trading community today. I don't think we're devoting, let me just finish the sentence. I don't think we're devoting adequate resources to do it.
And
I can point that out with our policy to so many countries.
I just want to make a theory, and see if you agree with it, Senator, that all these people who were against every war since World War II, against the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, suddenly got so very much interested in the Kosovo War, and in interfering in other countries' business around the world, because national interest is not at stake. There is no oil involved. There is no wealth involved. It's a liberal war because it has to do with human rights. Isn't that correct?
Well, let me ask you, do you think we should not have gotten involved? That we should have just let Kosovo go under, and Albania and whatever else went in?
Let me interrupt here, because I'm here too, and I stayed here tonight for this reason. I'll answer your question. Yes, we should not have, Diana. It's not because I don't have compassion. I chair the Readiness Subcommittee of the Senate Armed Services Committee, and right now, the American people, up until about 2 years ago, actually thought that we could defend America on 2 regional fronts. We can't do that now. Nobody says that we can do that now. So under this administration, they have cut down our force strength to about half of where it was during the Persian Gulf War. And then the big problem comes up. We start sending our assets into Bosnia, as Bob says, places where we don't have any national security interests, then to Kosovo. And right now, if something should happen, we would not be able to handle the ground logistics to respond to a problem where we do have national security interests, such as in the Persian Gulf.
Well,
that's my concern
you've made a point, and I'm not going to debate that point. I do think the defense budget is up even more than the military asked for.
Well, pause right there for a minute, because they said...
Sorry, I was just trying to be fair and give her a chance to respond to your question, or your comments.
What I was going to say
We're old friends, so
what I was going to say is...
I'd prefer a junkyard dog here instead of her.
I guess I should feel complimented. I'm not sure.
You're so kind. And
All right, we're going to have to take a break, and we'll try to bring in a junkyard dog for the second segment.
No, Torso is busy tonight.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll ask, is it isolationist not to want to intervene in the Russian attack on Chechnya?
Billy Blank's Tybo is the hottest workout in America because millions of people have discovered they can get fit, lose weight, have fun, and be strong.
You believe in yourself,
and you can too.
Focus. You gotta focus. Raise your eyes.
Get the original advanced Tybo workout and a free sneak preview of the electrifying new Tybo Live. On sale now at these fine stores.
Call it Dixieland. And nobody plays it better than the king of Dixieland himself, Pete Fountain. Heartland Music presents Pete Fountain in the greatest Dixieland collection ever. 30 of your all-time Dixieland favorites. From The Tonight Show to New Orleans, when Pete plays his clarinet, it'll touch your soul. So join the fun, because Pete Fountain's Dixieland Classics will make you feel great. But remember, it's not sold in any store, so stay tuned to order.
To order Pete Fountain's Dixieland Classics, call 1-800-306-5300. That's 1-800-306-5300. Use your credit card or send check or money order for only $17.98 for 2 cassettes or $19.98 for 2 CDs, plus $4.50 shipping to Pete Fountain, P.O. Box 2919, Atlanta, Georgia.
The Moneyline News Hour, weeknight 6:30 Eastern. You are what you know.
Welcome back to Crossfire. With Republicans under assault as neo-isolationists, is there any issue in the world that the United States might just take a pass on? Should Uncle Sam restrain the Soviet Union from rocketing Chechnya? Should he mediate a shooting war between Ethiopia and Eritrea? Should he try to turn China into a Jeffersonian democracy? Or should Uncle Sam just mind his own business? Questions for Senator Dianne Feinstein, Democrat of California, and for Senator James Inhofe, Republican of Oklahoma. Bill?
Senator Inhofe, believe it or not, I don't like name calling, so I'm not, I want to make a deal with you. I won't call you an isolationist. I won't even call you a neo-isolationist if you agree that the United States should pay all of its current UN dues. We got a deal?
Well, no, we don't have a deal. Because, first of all, if you'll go back to 1995, they were using 25%. That was what we agreed on, 25% of the bill. Then all of a sudden in their accounting, they're going to 40%. And also not included in all that bill, and you know this, is all the money that we're spending out there on these international peacekeeping things that we're doing and others in the United Nations aren't doing. I think we are, first of all, Jesse Helms, he's the one who gets criticized for this. He's holding out for 17 differences in just an audit. That's all it amounts to.
Well, Senator, there are different parts of the UN budget. And in fact, when you look at what the United States owes, you can look in both categories. In the regular UN budget, a debt of $644 million they've got, the United States is responsible for 81% of it. If you look at the peacekeeping budget, which you talked about, we put some money in there, but there's a $1.8 billion deficit. The United States responsible for 60%. We're the biggest deadbeat dad on the planet.
What do you mean, some money in it, Bill? What do you mean? My gosh, look what we're doing in Kosovo and Bosnia.
Behind.
Right now, if you take the indirect costs that we can identify in Bosnia, it's not $12 billion, it's close to $20 billion.
We still haven't paid our dues, Senator.
But we're the ones who are paying for all this stuff that our allies over there, where they have a national security interest and we don't. And I just really find this to be very offensive.
You want to get in, Dianne?
No, I was ranking on the International Committee of Foreign Relations before I left it 2 years ago. And we had worked out a deal to pay our dues. And now that deal is all up in the air again because the House wants to inject that family planning language.
Just to say, just for fairness, to say inject family planning language, what they are saying is the United States government should not promote family planning and abortion around the world, and the president vetoes the payment of dues for that because he doesn't want to support, he doesn't want to offend the pro-abortion people.
We're going to tell everybody else what to do.
We don't know. We're not telling. They can do
We're not going to participate in the largest international organization in the world because we want to tell everybody else. We want to tell China, you can't engage in family planning, a country of 1.3 billion people unable to feed all of its people.
Wouldn't it be more fair, though?
I don't agree with that.
Wouldn't it be more fair?
Bob, can I follow up with a quick question for Senator?
Sure.
December 31st, we pay $350 million, or the United States loses its seat in the General Assembly. Are you, as a senator, willing to let us lose our voice in this world organization?
Well, first of all, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, since I don't agree with your premise, I don't think it's going to happen.
That's the
again,
rules.
All they have to do, Bill, is come forth and have these audits and see what the real amount is, and then let's give us a little bit of credit for all this money and all the diluting of the ability to defend ourselves.
I want to move on to something else. On the famous Sandy Berger speech, he put forth this premise.
I think he got to you, Bob.
Yes, he did. Let's listen to what Sandy says.
Because we are the only nation on Earth able to project power in every region on Earth, others look to us to deliver decisive influence where it is needed.
Now, Senator Feinstein, today, the Russian military using long-distance weapons, aircraft, and missiles. Using our example, of course, we use in Kosovo, the push-button war, have been, as we did in Kosovo, attacking civilians, bombing civilian areas. Should we now use the power that Mr. Berger talks about to restrain the Russians from this barbaric activity?
You mean by getting involved militarily? I don't think so. I do think, though, diplomatically, you see, I believe we need to strengthen our diplomatic skills. I think we are very weak when it comes to the kind of diplomacy that has the kind of historical knowledge, a kind of up-to-date assessment, long-range thinking in terms of America's national interests.
Well,
and
could I, after you're through,
I believe
because I'm going to
that
agree with you,
where we didn't do what we could have done with Bosnia and Kosovo is in the diplomatic area. I think that's true in China as well. I think that's true in Russia. And it's certainly, this is not the first time the Russians have attacked Chechnya.
Yeah, but this time they're doing it differently. They're using our example of high-tech weapons against a low-tech people. But can you tell me then what the rule is that we use military forces when we're attacking a little country like Serbia, but we restrain it when we're dealing with Russia? Is that the rule?
Well, let me be very frank. I don't think any of us are happy with the United States essentially attacking another sovereign nation. I don't think that's something we want to do very often. I think the Kosovo situation was a particular set of circumstances which had to do with ethnic cleansing, mass rape, the moving and the exiling of hundreds of thousands of people.
You want to get a word in on this?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. I do agree with her in terms of our diplomatic skills, but where we might disagree, Diana, is I think we should be doing it from a position of strength. And I'm going to read something here.
Senator, we're really out of time, I'm being told, so I just want to say we didn't resolve all of our issues, but we had a great debate to be continued. Senator Inhofe, always good to have you back. And Senator Feinstein,
thank you very much.
Great to have you here.
Bill.
My senior senator from California, Bob Novak, and I will settle all the world's problems in our closing comments. Just wait.
Now, Cornerstone Promotions brings you Rockin' Instrumentals, featuring 34 of your all-time jukebox favorites. These are the songs that bring back magical memories. 34 original hits by the original artist, together in this one great collection. Rockin' Instrumentals is not sold in stores. Here's how to order. Call this toll-free number now for Rockin' Instrumentals. 2 cassettes, $19.98. 2 CDs, $26.98 plus $4.95 shipping. Have your credit card ready and call now.
Millennium, CNN's groundbreaking television series. 1,000 years in 10 entertaining hours. A dazzling TV landmark. An engrossing and imposing television event. The series is remarkable. Millennium, Sundays, 10 Eastern on CNN.
Sunday on CNN's late edition, the last word in Sunday Talk, Congressman Tom DeLay. I'm Wolf Blitzer. We'll ask the House Republican whip about the coming budget battle with the White House, plus the latest on Campaign 2000. Sunday, noon Eastern on CNN.
Bill, I think that 1 penny out of $1 is too much for foreign aid. I think we ought to zero out foreign aid because all it's done is been counterproductive and is permitted, as Doug Bando of the Cato Institute indicated in a column this week, it's indicated petty tyrants like the late Julius Nyerere of Tanzania to ruin his country.
Well, I have to tell you, Bob, that just shows that you really deserve the title Prince of Darkness. It seems to me, Bob, if you can get rid of nuclear, help Russia get rid of nuclear weapons, if you can help keep of the killing stopped in Kosovo, if you can help bring about peace in the Middle East and have a U.S. presence around the world for 1 penny, it's damn worth it. In fact, it's not enough. It used to be 4 cents, now it's only a penny.
Well, if you think
come on.
if you think the killing has stopped in Kosovo, I have pity for you.
Let me tell you, Bob, you take the UN troops out of there and see what happens in Kosovo and Bosnia.
Read what's happening right now.
You deserve it. From the left, pay our dues to From the Left. I'm Bill Press. Good night for Crossfire. Have a good weekend.
From the right, I'm Robert Novak. Join us again next time for another edition of Crossfire.
G-forces. Compose in millimeters. You won't find our work in museums, for we are artists of the streets. Our art places form in harmony with function, invigorates heart and mind, moves body and soul. Cars are our passion. Engineering is our art. Acura.
Sunday on Business Unusual, putting a new spin on bowling, AMF strategy to bring back the crowds, plus how France is creating a new economic order on Business Unusual, defining the new economy, 6:30 Eastern on CNN.
Sunday on CNN in Time. 15 years after its discovery, chronic fatigue syndrome still remains a mystery. So why hasn't the U.S. government done all it can?
CDC misspent funds allocated to us.
Sunday, 9 Eastern on CNN.
Weeknights, Wolf Blitzer, Joey Chen, Jim Ray, The World Today. Weeknights, 8 Eastern on CNN.
There are 7 good reasons to vote yes on all 7 crime victims measures. To finally give victims the right to speak and to receive restitution. To give the public the right to choose a jury trial. To protect victims from further danger by their attackers before trial. To stop biased jurors from setting murderers free. To aid prosecutors seeking the truth. To force criminals to serve their full sentences. And to keep violent and dishonest criminals off juries. To protect yourself, your family, and to reduce crime, vote yes on measures 69 through 75.
Some credit cards set an interest rate based on an average. They don't care who you are. In this city, our cards care. Your rate is based on you and no one else. So you get the best rate for you. And a nice sense of individuality. Where can you find a card built around you? Citibank.
My father, Frank Mettman, started the Mettman Manufacturing Company in 1942.
News of the world. Mettman opens with a bang. Frank Mettman shows...
Since then, the Mettman name has become synonymous with ill-conceived products that carry the risk of serious physical injury. The Suckmaster 100, the Rocket Fold recliner, and the unfortunate home surgery kit. This is the legacy I've inherited, but we have made a little progress. We just signed up for this great service called Stamps.com. It lets you print your postage straight from your printer, and best of all, it's actually legal. It really comes in handy for all our recall notices. Get well cards, flowers for the families. It's been a bad month.
Guys,